today is an opportunity for us to prepare people for the coming fire season, as is the case in the lead up to the bushfire danger period, which legislatively starts on the 1st of October each year. Again, we have a situation where councils this year have brought forward in New South Wales, some councils, particularly to the north, have brought forward the commencement of the bushfire danger period. It is an opportunity to again remind people who live in country and regional areas in particular, but of course here we are in the outskirts of the metropolitan area, to remind people to take stock of the coming fire seasons and to also start to evaluate the risks around their homes and the risks around their property. The Rural Fire Service, of course, through their website, make available a source of information to give people that insight in terms of, again, reminding them of the risk and the steps that they have to take and can take to reduce those risks to their home. But of course, there are things that are beyond the control of households and residents themselves, and of course Mother Nature will always take control in relation to that increased risk. The last couple of years, of course, has been a difficult one in terms of predicting what would occur in relation to the fire season. This time last year I stood with the commissioners at Homebush and we looked at the information that was available to us in predicting the forthcoming fire season, and there was an expectation that last season was going to be arguably one of the worst seen in this state for 30 to 40 years. Of course, that unpredictability of Mother Nature brought with it rains the likes of which we had not seen for many years, that saw 75% of the state underwater, an area the size of Spain. But of course, the floodwaters have receded, the grass has continued to grow, has continued to cure, and the concerns of last season are manifestly even worse this season than they were in the launch of the bushfire danger season. We've had our volunteers from the Rural Fire Service working together with Fire and Rescue New South Wales, committing themselves to a fire reduction regime over the winter months, and of course also improving their standards of training by using every opportunity to get out into our community to increase their own skills with those fire reduction programs, as well as their focus in on their equipment. But again, I make the point that whilst this is occurring, we've seen incredible growth in our grasslands, and of course the curing that has occurred, particularly over the last couple of months, has seen the threat quite imminent.
So, as the Minister said, we are looking at this season as being one of the most difficult we've seen in many years. That extraordinary rain that we've seen over the last two seasons has been recognised in New South Wales as the two wettest successive years on record, and with that welcome relief from drought has come an abundance of growth, and particularly grass growth, across the length and breadth of this state. We are already seeing, even in the warmer months of August and September, thousands of fires already occurring across much of New South Wales, particularly in our northern area of the state. And it is important, with the outlook for warmer, drier, windier conditions ahead this season, that people start taking preparatory action now. Complacency is a real concern as we move into the summer season and into the bushfire season. So preparing yourself, preparing your family and preparing your home is so important now, and not waiting until fire's at your back door. And it is a really easy thing to do. Go to the RFS website, download a bushfire survival plan, have a conversation with the family, look at what you need to do now, and look at what it is you're going to do in the event that fire affects you this season.
Commissioner, I read somewhere that you're particularly concerned about grass fires more so than bushfires this season. Why is that? Oh look,
there is no doubt we've got to be concerned about a bushfire season this year. There is bush already burning as we speak now. 10 kilometres north of Kurrajong, we've got a fairly significant fire burning that's occupying the resources of at least 4 aircraft, more than 70 firefighters, and that's burning in thick forested timbered country. When the weather conditions are right, we are going to have challenges with bush and grass fires. The point the Minister was making was that with the abundance of rainfall over the last two seasons, we've got widespread grass growth, the likes of which we haven't seen in this state for 30 or 40 years. And you can literally go from the Queensland border to the Victorian border, from our western boundary right across the ranges, and you will see a proliferation and a continuous run of grass. Grass like that depicted behind us, standing more than a metre tall, which is a very fine fuel, which dries out in the warmer conditions. Fires start very easily and they spread very quickly. Unfortunately, a lot of people underestimate the risk from grass fires. The reality is grass fires can kill. And if you go back to the last big fire seasons we saw in New South Wales, dominated by grassland conditions, you're talking the early 70s, early 80s, when the last big droughts broke here in this state. And during those seasons, lives were lost, tens of thousands of head of stock were lost, tens of thousands of kilometres of fences were lost, not to mention obviously property and other assets damaged and destroyed by fire. So grass fires, along with bushfires, are a real challenge as we move into the warmer months, and particularly with the outlook from the Bureau of Meteorology predicting an El Nino pattern dominating this year. We're looking at warmer, drier conditions, and that simply means the weather ingredients that fuel fire.